Hey lovies, and welcome to Bilo Publishing's YouTube channel. So today we are finally going to get started to zoom into the nitty-gritty of the contents for which Bilo Publishing YouTube channel was started. Those who haven't as yet, you can check out the previous videos. The links are right below. So today we are going to be focusing on an overview of the publishing process. So the first thing that we need before starting on the publishing process is a manuscript. Without a manuscript, without an idea of a book, there is no publishing, right? So we need to have a manuscript. But there are those instances where an author would have an idea of a book but don't have a manuscript and may need guidance. We do provide ghostwriting services, and depending on what kind of book it is, we may need to do some research, but we do sit down with the author, brainstorm, and get the idea of what the author wants to write about, and then we'd have ghostwriting services being done, and then at least at the end of that, we would then have a manuscript to work with, right? Now, once we have the manuscript, and even if the author would like ghostwriting services, but we have an idea of the kind of book that they want to self-publish, we need to then review the manuscript or the idea of the book to see if it is worthy to publish. Now, what we do then is we look into the vision and mission of Bilo Publishing, because we're very specific in terms of the kind of books that we self-publish, right? For those who haven't as yet, but I'm sure there are those who have seen, we have a slogan which is cultivating a better life, one book at a time, and a sub-slogan which is to heal, inform, and empower. That signifies that the books that we self-publish are books that are cultivating a better life, and books that are healing, informative, and or that are empowering. Basically books that add value to one's life, right? So we have to review the manuscript or review the idea of the book to see if it fits that description. But of course, if it doesn't, we can always refer you to any of the other self-publishers that we are aware of, right? Once we are satisfied, we then go into the next stage of reviewing to see how much work needs to be done on the manuscript. Now, we have different editing levels that many are not aware of, and it's quite unfortunate because these different levels of editing, they actually focus on different aspects of the manuscript. They each have a duty. But if you'd like to find out more about these editing levels, you can follow us on our social media platforms, both on Facebook and on Instagram, because from time to time, we do share more details concerning the different stages of publishing. Once all of that has been established, we then complete a contract which the author would read and sign as an agreement. And then once a payment has been made in accordance with the contract, we then get started on the publishing. So now we get started on the editing levels which were determined during the review stage. Now with editing is the one stage within the publishing process that takes the most time, and it's very important for authors to actually understand the time that is required to complete the editing, because there would be those authors who would want to have their book out by a certain time, they give us a certain deadline, but we need to respect the amount of time required in order for us to make sure that at the end of the day, the outcome of the editing is at the level that is desired, at the professional level that is desired and required. Right. After the different levels of editing are completed, we then would have a proofreader, and ideally it would be someone who did not do the editing, someone who's completely different, because it's very good to have a different eye, as the editor would have gone through the manuscript quite a number of times and may overlook a couple of things. So it's a very good idea to actually have a different eye to do the proofreading. Now, during the editing stage and proofreading stage, we would have more knowledge in terms of what the book is about and the message that the book is trying to portray. That would then help us to create or have an idea of how the book cover may be, and that is where we would have our different graphic designers or illustrators who would then conceptualize an idea for the book cover. Of course, the author does have the option of sharing the kind of book cover they would like to have, but we do allow the illustrators and graphic designers to use their own creativity, because they are the ones that would know more or less the book cover design that would be more appealing and that would truly represent what the book is about. So then the graphic designers and illustrators will then get started on the book cover design. Now once the book cover has been completed, we then move over to typesetting or layout and design. And what this focuses on is it focuses on the inside of the book. So we have something called a spec design, which clearly identifies how the book will be designed. So it looks at things like the font size, the font type, the number of words for each page, the size of the book, because for different books, whether it's a cookbook or it's a children's book or a novel or non-fiction, there are different sizes that cater for each type of book. So spec design looks at things like that. And then there will be proofreading once again, because during the designing of the book inside, there may be changes that are made to the content. So we need to check that again to make sure that the content hasn't been tampered with, right? After the typesetting or the layout and design has been completed, we then send the manuscript to the National Library of South Africa for us to be able to get an ISBN. Now the ISBN will receive it for free, however there is a cost that is required for the printing and for the courier fee, because the library has a requirement of having a copy with them, right? So once the book is complete, we then have to print and courier one copy of the book to the Pretoria branch, and then once you have printed and sold 100 copies, we then have to send 4 more copies to their other branches. So they have 2 branches in the Western Cape, one in Bloemfontein, one in Pietermaritzburg, and one in Pretoria. Now, during the stage of getting the ISBN and having the book printed, we do actually get a proof book printed and sent to you as well. What a proof book is basically a hard copy of the book. So at this stage, you get to see the final product, to see if you approve of it, to evaluate it. But of course, by then, there wouldn't be as many changes as you probably would like to make, because during the publishing stages, after the editing, you get to review the manuscript. After the cover design has been completed, you get to review the cover design and see if you're satisfied. After the typesetting or layout and design is done, you get to review that as well. So by the time you get your proof book, you would have already seen everything that has been done. Once that's complete, we then move over to marketing. Now, marketing depends on you and on your budget, because we have a variety of services that we provide for that. So there's an option of having a once-off marketing where we just complete a poster and we share it for the release of your book. Then there's also an option of having a countdown to a book release, or even to a book launch if you're going to have a book launch, where we will then do 5 or 7 different posters where we are marketing your book using some points or some quotes from your book. In that instance, we will then need you to do a professional photo shoot, because we will need to use professional pictures in order for us to market your book. There's also an option of having a book review done, which we publish on our website, and then we share the link on our social media platforms. You also have the freedom of using the link as well for marketing your book. And then we also allow you to advertise your book on radio, as we are in partnership with SM Radio. Another option is to have a Q&A session where I would interview you regarding your book, and we would have that done at a studio. It would be professionally edited and published on our YouTube channel, and that you can also use to market your book. Now, in terms of sales and distribution, we don't have a department for that as yet. What we do is connect you to the printers. You will make a bulk order, make payment to the printers, and then they would courier the books to you. And then from there, you can courier your books to your customers. The privilege with that is that at least your customers will have a signed copy of your book. There is also an option of having your own website through which you will sell your book. So your customers would simply go to a website, make an order there, you'd get notifications via your email, and the payments will be done directly to your bank account. Then it's a matter of you speaking to the printers to make the orders. You would send the addresses, and the printers will then do the work. It may be a lot of admin, but we do advise you. For instance, we would advise you to, at the end of each week, look at all the orders that came through and then process those orders all at once. And that, ladies and gents, is the overview of the publishing process. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed that and that it was quite informative. If you liked the video, you can click on the like button below. You can also click on the subscribe button and the notification bell for notification of new videos that come up on the YouTube channel. And of course, if you have any questions or inquiries or would like any quotation for the publishing of your book, perhaps you can send us an email to info@publishing.co.za. We can also send you the rates later for you to be aware of the rates for the publishing process. Thank you so much for your time, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye now.